Hello ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, innies, outies and in-betweeners. My name's Dan, welcome back to another PAP Reports. It's Thursday, May the 14th, 2020. Today we start with news that Metropolitan Police have been sending police constables to offer violent criminals a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity by visiting them at home, twice I might add, in order to persuade them not to return to their bad old ways after the coronavirus lockdown. The Metropolitan Police says a huge fall in crime in London since the pandemic has let officers concentrate on initiatives to head off a possible resurgence of violence as lockdown restrictions are eased. Assistant Commissioner Nick Fgrave said, "All of us in society are rethinking our lives, and it's the same for criminals who we hope are appreciating the positives of family interaction. We are visiting each of them and offering them a chance to get involved in diversion activities. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them, but if they resist, we will crack down hard. We are determined not to get back to where we were." Commissioner Cressida Dick said violent crime is still our #1 priority. We hope people are using their quiet time at home to think about the way they want to live their lives. She said she could not predict violent crime would surge after lockdown, but we do recognise it's more likely more people will be made homeless. There might be greater disparity in society, people will feel angry, but we stand ready to deal with it. Dick echoed other English police chiefs in insisting that it was not her officer's job to enforce the government's 2-metre social distancing advice. A police officer can only advise. Ignoring social distancing is not unlawful. All of us have a responsibility to be sensible. Now, you've got to laugh at the attempts now to try and bury all of the reports about how police did get involved in situations they shouldn't have. The attempts to try and bury the fact that police went completely Stasi over the public, over the exact advice that they're now saying they can't enforce. 40-year-old Daniel Ilya was arrested on January 27th at Dover while trying to leave the country in an attempt to evade arrest after it came to light that he had paid a 13-year-old girl £50 for sex. Ilya was a security guard at the time at Touchwood shopping centre in Solihull. Not appropriate to add a joke here. And the victim's mum only learned about the security guard's crimes after reading her daughter's diary. Ilya of Darlaston Court Main Road, Meriden, admitted paying for the sexual services of a girl and 2 charges of possessing an offensive weapon. It said that he befriended the 13-year-old girl, but instead of providing assistance to the girl, he then paid her £50 for sex, which occurred at the shopping centre. The CPS prosecutor said Daniel Ilya, as a security guard, should have been safeguarding the vulnerable victim, but instead he exploited her for his own selfish gain. Today he received a sentence that is appropriate for the seriousness of his crime, and he is now registered as a sex offender for life with an indefinite sexual harm prevention order. Ilya was sentenced to 45 months for paying for the sexual services of a child and also admitted to 2 counts of possession of an offensive weapon. Yeah, because 45 months is appropriate for a sicko like that, isn't it? PC James Briggs from Greater Manchester Police is being hailed a hero after police were called to a stretch of canal off Cavendish Street in Ashton-under-Lyne shortly before 5 PM on May the 6th. Police say they spotted a man in a canal and tried to coax him into the side, but he didn't respond. So PC Briggs jumped in to grab the man and bring him to the canal path to be pulled out. In a statement, Greater Manchester Police said they called out to direct the man to the side of the canal so they could throw guidelines towards him. However, he didn't respond. Concerned for his safety and noticing that he was drifting towards an unlit tunnel, which would have led the man out of sight, PC Briggs took the decision to jump into the canal and swim towards him. Once PC Briggs reached the man, officers standing at the side pulled them both to safety using a rescue line. The man was treated by paramedics before being taken to hospital to further receive treatment. Chief Superintendent Chris Alsop said PC Briggs put himself in danger to save a life. He said, "As with any incident we respond to, the safety of the public is our #1 priority." Sorry, that means putting them first ahead of your own safety. Police chiefs hailed the constable's brave and selfless actions and called the rescue a great act of heroism. The family of Mark Hunton of Barnstaple have accused the police of a cover-up after they only received 70% of a report into their son's death after he took his own life. 23-year-old Mark was accused of rape, an allegation they refute, and it was this allegation that led to Mark taking his own life. Mark was found dead on May 21st, 2018, following a 9-month police investigation. His father, Nick, alleges that pressure of that investigation contributed to his mental health issues, which subsequently led to his suicide. The pre-inquest was held this week to work towards setting a date for a full inquest, which will determine the cause of his death and the circumstances surrounding it. It was heard how investigating officer D.S. Connors promised the family, including through work emails, they would receive a copy of her final report in which specific recommendations were made. However, she was substituted as investigating officer, and the family say they have only received around 70% of her final draft report, which has led them to question the transparency of the process. Nick Stanage, a barrister at Doughty Street Chambers and who specialises in action against the police and inquests, has been appointed to represent the family. During a hearing, he called for transparency and fairness for the family. Mr. Stanage said if the family have received only 70% of the report, then it would be fair to give them the remainder. Mr. Stanage concluded he felt the police were not fulfilling their duty of candour, a statutory duty to be open and honest. Nothing unusual there. 51-year-old Ted Townsend, a karaoke singer from Clacton who has spent some of his time in lockdown lifting other people's spirits by singing from his driveway, has been hit with a noise complaint. The letter from tendering council was sent after at least one complaint had been received, after Ted spent just 3 hours last month entertaining his neighbours. Ted said, "In all honesty, I was shocked and then I felt very sad. All I've been trying to do is raise spirits and boost morale during the lockdown, as well as give people a bit of entertainment. Performing also helps me too, because I am very much a people person and I love to entertain. I don't want to just sit here all day looking at the same 4 walls." Ted has now been disheartened and discouraged from trying to entertain his neighbours anymore for fears of more complaints. He said, "I am sticking to the rules, so doing a few live shows is my outlet, but I won't be going live outside anymore, which is really upsetting me." He added, "I would understand if I was playing loud music into the night, but I don't, and I have only performed outside 3 times. I would have thought that during this time we all would need a little boost, a little community spirit, and maybe a bit more togetherness. It is a shame for the wonderful people who have supported me." Now, I've got to say, this lockdown has really brought out people's true colours, grassing on their neighbours for leaving their home even when the grass has no idea what the reason for leaving is, grassing on neighbours for singing or trying to lift people's spirits. I think many people have exposed themselves for the cretins that they really are, and I bet not a single one of them has the balls to let themselves be known to the rest of their community. Personally, I think it's disgusting, and that all those grasses should absolutely be ashamed of themselves for turning on their neighbours, which is exactly what the government want. Some of you may have seen the video circulating of 21-year-old Kyle McCulloch, who was stopped and subsequently arrested by Lancashire police. The video shows Kyle being handcuffed behind his back, slapped in the face and then dragged with force by the handcuffs before another cop holds his head down. The incident happened around 5 PM on May the 12th when police reported a car being driven on the wrong side of the road on Martin Drive. Police have confirmed that Kyle has been charged with several offences, obviously, because how else will they strengthen their case for the use of force? Those offences being using threatening behaviour likely to cause harassment, alarm or distress, obstructing an officer and driving without due care and attention. Lancashire police have confirmed they are reviewing the footage and the circumstances into the incident, but Kyle has been bailed to appear at Blackpool Magistrates Court on July the 7th. The Metropolitan Police is said to be considering whether to delay the rollout of privacy-infringing facial recognition cameras because so many Londoners are wearing face masks. London Assembly members Caroline Pidgeon and Sian Berry wrote to Met Commissioner Dame Cressida Dick to ask her to drop the technology until a series of concerns, including the difficulty of using it during a pandemic, were addressed. Ms Pigeon, a Lib Dem Assembly member, said, "We now face the situation that for many months ahead, the wearing of masks, scarves and face coverings will be commonplace in public places in London. Many people, MPs and civil liberties groups have warned against the use of the technology and have demanded clarity on how the Metropolitan Police draw up its watch list of targets for detection." The Metropolitan Police launched the technology in January. Met Assistant Commissioner Nick Fgrave said the cameras were vital in assisting us in bearing down on violence. He said cameras would not be used to search speculatively or indiscriminately. No, of course not, because the police can certainly be trusted not to infringe on anyone's rights unnecessarily, can't they? Personally, I don't see too much of a problem with the facial recognition cameras if they're being used in places like train stations or private shops, for example. But to have them on the streets, searching us out when we're going about our business is, in my opinion, disgusting. I mean, yeah, there is the fact that we have no privacy in public, but this isn't just about privacy. This goes way past that. But if the cameras were on and in private property, not scanning people in the streets, then there isn't really anything anyone can say or do about it. I mean, this is a really interesting subject to me, so let me know what you guys think in the comments. Police in Liverpool clearly have no crimes to investigate after Merseyside Police were seen in force this morning, 14th of May, on Crosby Beach after reports of a woman stuck in sand. Police, fire crews and the Coast Guard were called to Burbo Bank Road South at around 7:35 AM on Thursday, today, to assist with the rescue. The woman was said to have got herself stranded about 100 yards off the shore after sinking into the sand up to her knees. With what appears to be at least 8 police vehicles in attendance, one would ask themselves how long it would take for one of those units in attendance to respond to a crime in the area at the same time, seeing as they all appear to be out at the site where the woman was stuck. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm glad she was seen, found and, of course, rescued, but how many police does it take to rescue a woman in the sand? That's not a joke, by the way. It's nice to see that all the crimes in the area seem to have been solved. I feel so much safer. Chair of the National Rural Crime Network, Julia Mulligan, said she fears worried countryside villagers will take out their fear of the virus on tourists after second homeowners in resorts including Devon and Cornwall have already been targeted. Since Boris Johnson's announcement easing the restrictions, police can no longer turn people away from visiting beauty spots and countryside hotspots in England, and the National Police Chief Council has warned that there will be a spike in vigilante attacks on houses, cars and people. In Devon and Cornwall, pins and nails have already been laid as traps for cyclists. Julia Mulligan has said that we have seen some of that in the country. I think you're going to get a lot of concerns about social distancing and people's ability to do that effectively. People in local communities are worried. There needs to be more transparency about the risks of transmission in rural areas. It's not enough to say it's a low risk. People need to understand that. I'm not sure that it's getting communicated effectively. If people can understand that, you can lower the anxiety that people feel around this. We've had small-scale vigilantism, if you like, so communities blocking off roads, people driving aggressively at cyclists. People have been making it clear that people coming from long distances to enjoy our local beauty spots that are not local to them are not welcome. There have been signs put up. We've had people calling cyclists out. All sorts of little things, nothing that is criminal, but people really making it clear how anxious they feel. So driving recklessly at cyclists isn't criminal. Under the relaxed guidelines, people can drive in household groups to destinations of their choosing, including parks and beaches. But national parks urged caution for visitors planning their trips, with some still telling people to stay away. One popular Lake District community group on Facebook descended into hate as people debated if tourists should be allowed or not. One man commented on a Facebook page, "There is going to be a lot of vehicle vandalism." Another person wrote, "I'm gagging to get up to the lakes, but I won't be going simply because I'm worried about my car being vandalised by angry locals while I'm up a hill." Another posted, "This group has got really nasty. What has this virus turned us into? We were planning a trip up when everything had settled down, but judging by the comments, I do not think we'd be welcome." One man who appeared to be from Cumbria wrote, "I know we seem to have a nation of fuckwits, mostly townies that don't adhere to the countryside code, but they're going to come whether we like it or not."
Hell yeah!
Another, who said he was heading for the Lake District on Friday, was also met with a torrent of abuse. He wrote, "Glad things are getting to normality. I will be jumping in my car and heading over on Friday for the day, providing the weather's nice, of course." But one angry local commented, "Cumbria is closed, bugger off." While another added, "Well, remember, you probably won't be welcome." And one person appeared to threaten to run over cars with a tractor, posting, "Just a thought, anyone ever seen a Ford driven over by a Fendt 1050 Vario quad?" Now, after I've read through multiple articles, I haven't yet seen a single comment from the police advising people living in these areas to not break the law or make threats. Not a single comment or statement that I have seen that warns against vigilante behaviour for fear of committing an offence, or that the police will take action on the people that do. I completely understand that this whole coronavirus situation has instilled fear in many people, literally due to the overinflated numbers of deaths and the government delay in taking action, but these online threats are just the thing the police love to deal with, but seem to be ignoring them. I personally think it's about time the police stopped taking sides and start doing what the police force was designed to do, and take action against crimes regardless to who commits them or who the crimes are targeted against. For your information, I should tell you that the rules in Wales are not the same as here in England, and due to that, it's not wise to travel to Wales, as the police will treat you differently and likely escort you back to England with a fine in your back pocket, which, due to the difference in regulations, they are allowed to do. A big thank you to channel Patreon supporters. Your support is truly appreciated. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.
Good night, all.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.